map will be a lot tougher to do that against the Syndra.
And Caitlyn and Lux are able to deal with what can be a range issue that you have into this composition. So I really like it as well. I think that Quantum Freaks have got themselves a good comp, but it wasn't the comp that we had issue with last game either. So let's see whether the gameplay can actually complement all of the picks that they've put together. See whether Fate can find a win on the rise as well, because this could be, what would it be, 3-12 if he loses this game. We also want to see Quantum Freaks bounce back. We want to see them actually find some advantages. And Caitlyn Lux, pretty good way of getting a win.
On one side, you know, what Chronicler said during that death segment was that, you know, if you want to play an aggressive comp, you've got to be aggressive. You'd rather see them just sit back and play a 5v5 comp, because that's how they played game 1. But I don't trust their ability to run a Rise and side lane with a Rise and set up for 5v5 comps against this, which is, you know, pretty nice range with the Ezreal. Insane engage tools with Showmaker here and Canyon, where they can set up fights. They have a lot of damage. I liked the comp from Kwangdong in game 1 a lot better myself, personally.
Yeah. I think that this is very standard from Damwon, and I like the agency that they give to their two big carries, right? We're looking at Showmaker, we're looking at Canyon every time Damwon play, and the Syndra with these scatters certainly going to be pivotal. And yeah, Canyon's Lee Sin needs absolutely no introduction. This guy is super, super good at the pick. Quantum Freaks also with a lot of tools as well, and Keen once again on a carry, once again with agency. Let's see whether he can actually make it work.
That is the question. Keen, if he gets ahead in this game, he's taking the Ignite, as you do. If he gets ahead, things can go very, very well for Kwangdong around these first few objectives, and they have really nice scaling. It's going to be tank Rise for sure in this game. Don't really want the damage with this build.
Yeah, and also you already have, you know, late game scaling Caitlyn and the Akali there. It'll be like tanks in both of the solo lanes, I'd expect, as Quantum Freaks can go towards the tanky Akali build, which wasn't nerfed completely into oblivion. It's just not as busted as it was before.
Yeah, I am really curious to see whether he goes for the Chem Tank or if he goes for the Riftmaker here, because I think the Riftmaker is also a good choice considering how squishy...
Dash Cannon as well, very good.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways with the squishy backline here for Damwon Kia, whose tank is a Graves, to make it work. So I think there's arguments for both sides.
Yeah. We are very inspired. As Teddy, the only one, and Teddy and King, as we've got a bit of a resolve there. As Elam is, yeah, struggling here against Bertle, who has decided that Elam is not going to take his blue buff. And it's just, yeah, that's just a fact. He's not taking this.
Yeah, Keen cannot really do anything about this. He actually just has to reset, and this is a disaster.
Oh, this just the worst feeling ever. Is Alan's just like, but my top laner, what are you doing?
But also, you know, Keen is not going to get really a whole lot, as you mentioned. Like, you know, my top laner, what are you doing? Because Keen can't really push through as level 1 Akali to like crash a minion wave or anything like that. Like, it's not like Bertle really loses anything, in fact, from this, minus the level 2 advantage, which will go to Keen. But he's not worried about that either. He will take a hit here, but he's got a pot. He's started Doran's Blade. He will be fine.
Yeah.
Unless he makes a mistake here. So, you know, let's dot our I's and cross our T's like he should be fine.
He's got fleet footwork as well, so that's going to help out for a little bit of extra sustain. As Teddy finding a lot of peace with that Peacemaker. Doctarm down very, very low. The flash is Hoyt. Gonna bait them out here. Teddy looks for that one extra auto, but the minion's getting in the way. And Canyon coming on down here, trying to capitalize. Gets on over. I don't think he was spotted on vision. Nope. And there is a ward behind Hoyt there as well. They know that he's in this brush. As now Canyon moves on over, flashes on in to get that E. And the light binding's not going to be enough. Teddy going to get pushed out as well, and that's an easy first blood for Canyon.
Well played here from Canyon. All according to plan here with the aggressive trades, the Ignite commit from Kellen, and then he comes over to swoop in and steal the kill away. This is going to get the first blood, as you mentioned, and pulling out this Lux from the lane removes Caitlyn's ability to be so obnoxious and control this wave so early on in the game. Now, they will recover here and be able to push it in again, but this really does, you know, take a lot of the oomph out of the early game Caitlyn.
Not to mention, they get the flash out of Hoyt as well, and no flashes had to be used by Doctarm and Kellen bot lane as well. So they should be able to now develop this into a bit of an advantage and play a little bit more aggressively. With those double flashes that they do have, not to mention Inspire and you know, things like the Arcane Shift as well, keeping the Ezreal safe. So a great start for Damwon there in a lane that was going to be a very big point of contention, right? Like, this is a lane that needs to win for Quandong Freaks.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it.
And speaking about winning, is going to hop into his Twilight Shroud as Bertle's trying to turn this one around. We haven't mentioned either the fact that Keen has his worst enemy on the Rift as well. The Lee Sin, able to get in there with the Tempest and really frustrate the Akali.
Yeah.
It's been one of those things, Lee Sin always pretty good into Akali, no matter what the meta is.
And it's very frustrating to play into the Lee Sin. Can get kicked out as well. As, you know, I heard the from Sunk over there, like, Kenny got missed. Yeah. But we do it on both sides of the broadcast here. Either way, Key needs to be very careful about trading into this, you know, pre-level 6, the Graves, because can go very badly for you. So we take a look at the win rate between these duos. We mentioned the Ezreal into this has done pretty okay. This is not the win rate between the matchups, but the win rate in total for Caitlyn Lux versus Ezreal Karma. So both of them very successful this far, even though the Caitlyn Lux has been more popular.
Yeah. And Ezreal Karma, even though we haven't seen it all that much, it's often picked in these sort of tech situations, right? Where you see the Caitlyn Lux there, and they're like, oh, well, they're going to be playing through the bottom lane. Let's try and neutralize that. And of course, Ezreal has been used forever as a neutralizing pick. And so far here in the LCK this season, it has been working out very effectively. As, yeah, Canyon making another return towards the bottom side of the map. Showmaker here in tow.
Yeah, sweeping out the vision. As we watch this exchange happen, Duck Dom takes a ton of damage from Peacemaker. Then they commit the Ignite. And Canyon's like, all right, I'm coming down. Capath over here. They back off. And unfortunately for Kwangdong Freaks, there's no vision. And you see that ward ping from Duck Dom there. He's like, they have vision on Brush, take the long way around. So he takes the long way around because they know there's a ward in there. A small ping like that could be the difference between this gank going off and actually getting stopped and being seen early. Takes a long path because he had that vision ping there.
Yeah, I really like the Flash Tempest as well, just to make sure that he gets on top of the Lux. She has no flash, she can't move, and it doesn't matter if he gets bound. At that point in time, is Lightbinding going to go wide here. Kellen speeds himself up as Doc Dom. Aggressive Arcane Shift, and now Canyon moving on in one more time. Hoits the target, the Q's going to land, and goodbye, Lux! Too easy there for Damwon as once again Canyon swoops in and grabs a kill.
Yeah, at least Duck Tom got the assist this time. Still not going to be getting up his gold up, but that's okay for an Ezreal at this point. It's actually great for the Lee Sin to have this early gold because then he becomes a menace on the map. Picked up an early pickaxe, of course, as you do, and is able to do that extra damage there on the bottom side. Once again, this time the vision is controlled by a control ward, which you're not almost ever allowed to get into a Caitlyn Lux lane, but when you get that one kill on the Lux, it gives you enough control to get one control ward, then you know you can make that second pass bottom. You normally never get that chance because you don't have any prio.
No, true. And we haven't really mentioned the flow-on effects of LM getting invaded by the Graves so early. Yes, Bertle sacrificed a lot of what was his early laning, but as you can see, Akali is not going to be able to effectively punish you pre-6, and so he gets back into the lane and does okay. But LM has been second fiddle this whole game. He hasn't been able to make plays, and Canyon has just done this over and over again.
It might have actually been Canyon who put that control ward down himself on his way over, not entirely sure, but he's able to verify they don't know that he's there. And yeah, I mean, the Jarvan has been absent, and we sometimes see with this pushing lane that the Jarvan just hovers it. Like, you just kind of camp it Malrong style down there on the bottom side because you know that if Canyon doesn't come, then you get free pushes Caitlyn Lux. So Canyon has to come, and so therefore you respond and you can counter gank and do stuff like this. But because he was so far behind, that one set of tempo advantage that Canyon has means that LM hasn't been able to catch any of the aggro. And it's so important that you mention that because otherwise we see a lot more 3v3s down there and not just Canyon being the one-man show.
Yep, and they're going to be able to steal away this Rift Scuttler as well. Pretty comfortable. A plate being picked up against a Caitlyn at the same time, right? Like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. This is the power of this Ezreal Karma if they do manage to get that early lead. The fact that that Summoner Spell advantage was there, and the fact that Canyon kept coming down and doubling down on what was the advantage that they picked up earlier.
Finally going to get rid of that control ward here as this is very dire straits early here for Kwangdong because like you said, this is the lane you need to win in. And they're just going to keep pushing this in with the True Shot Barrage now being committed. Why not? I mean, just keep this Caitlyn under wraps.
Yeah. Fate fighting against Canyon and Showmaker right now as they're just trying to push this wave. Ellen hops on over. Canyon looking to try and turn this onto Fate.
I think, ill-fated to try to fight this against the Fed Canyon.
Liked what you did.
There you go.
As LM finds the Cataclysm. Scatter the Weak does nothing, but the gameplay button comes in. He's not going to be able to save Showmaker here, but Canyon does lock down the kill on his opposite number. Kellen moving on up as Fate's still doing a fair bit of damage on this Rise as they go 1-for-1 mid laner for jungle.
Yeah. Finally some gold on the board here for Kwangdong.
Oh, Keen looking for it here as the perfect execution comes down. The Ignite is ticking. Bertles drank his potion, though. He's done exactly what he needs to do, and he survives just barely. Fate coming on in, and Bertles not out of the woods just yet.
Teleport committed. Fate, I don't know about this.
The flash comes in, and Bertles gonna survive. Oh, no.
Oh, man, this is really, really rough tidings here. They commit so hard to try to shut down this Graves. And now you've lost your Flash's Fate as well. This is a disaster.
Yeah.
Now, they get the kill at least on the, on the middle of the map. They were able to take out Showmaker there, but they're not able to get really anything else here on the map. And now, once again, Canyon is a terror, and they have this control of the Rift Herald. Look at where Graves is controlling the mid wave, and now Kwangdong just have to stay on the bottom side of the map, but Duckdom knows he can just match.
Yeah, Duckdom gonna get flashed on here, but the light binding's not going to connect, and Hoyt is just dead once again. True Shot Barrage is gonna seal the deal. Oh man, Hoyt not having a great day today.
Yeah, I mean, the first two were really, unfortunately, not enough vision coverage, which is somewhat on him. They were not able to see Canyon coming, smart pathing from Canyon, but that one was really just a bit of a whoopsie there, straight up.
Well, Keen might be baited here as Canyon's gonna move on in. Not going to find him with the Tempest, but Keen moves out of his Shroud. And the Q is going to miss. Nice sidestep.
That was really important. If he gets hit into the wall there, then things can get really disastrous. Actually, Canyon didn't quite have his kick yet, so. Still, this is going to be plates going over to Birdall here on the top side of the map. And this Akali pick, we like it a lot into the Graves in terms of what the potential is there if LM can be up here and be very obnoxious. But because LM was so far behind early, he hasn't really been able to make an impact anywhere on the map outside of that one pick there in the mid lane.
Yeah, hasn't really worked. As we're going to check out this one from Bertles' perspective.
Ults.
As he makes the great escape.
Yeah, he ults after he uses his quick draw. And he's like, I'm good, I'm surviving.
Okay.
Let's see how he reacts to the Rise. The ping is there.
Yeah. Just slowly moves his way back. And does eat his biscuit as well, and that is what helped him there, as you could see. Eat your biscuits, everyone.
Calls out no ult for Akali, saying that he can maybe push forward as we're going to watch a lot of stuff happening at once.
Yeah, bit of a fight here towards the bottom side as well as Duckdom. Arcane shifting, still trying to stay in range as Showmaker clearing out control vision, but Kellen going to fall down. So well played. Duckdom stands on a trap, but isn't going to get punished. Good little gank there from LM to grab the target that they needed.
Really love to see Birdall's calm shot calling. He's gone for Hullbreaker first. This is a first here in the LCK to see the Hullbreaker first on Graves, but he has such a nice advantage right now with all the plates he picked up that he can be so frustrating to deal with in the side lane. And this is where, again, you have the Rise, you have the Akali. Kwangdong Freaks are hoping they're going to get an advantage in side lanes in this comp, but I don't think they do. This Hoyt once again almost dies.
Yeah. True Shot Barrage was up. Like, this is almost dead Hoyt.
It might still be.
Showmaker and Canyon moving down. The
He's
Bash
so
Bros. Yeah, no, he has to go home, but he can't even do that.
He's going to be fine here, but this is going to deny so many waves. And Teddy is like, man, why you do this to me? I'm supposed to be pushing the plates on the other side.
Yeah, what is happening? We should have already killed the enemy turret. Still got 5 plates. We only got a minute. Oh, no. Dalmonkey has so much control of this early game. As Fate looking to try and stop Canyon here from stealing his chickens, but he's not going to be able to really dissuade him from too much, as Dalmon just control everywhere. And this is what happens. Like last time they had a scaling comp, this time they've got a tempo comp, and they're demonstrating to Kwangdong Freaks how to make it work.
Gotta get one more of those.
There we go.
Birdall's like, I'm hull breaking. A hull breaker is also really great into the Akali because when you're alone, you get all those extra resistances, so it makes it more difficult for her to solo kill you. So you're basically just saying, all right, Keen, you're not really doing anything to me, and I can blow up turrets every time you decide to be elsewhere. As this turret doesn't exist, so they need to be careful. Canyon's here.
There's just so much pain. True Shot Barrage comes down as now the Realm Warp to come in. Kellen is really dead, but he survives for a little bit of time. Great light binding this time from Hoyt, though, as they do manage to keep themselves alive, largely to do with that. So
yeah.
Very nicely done.
Also, the turret, in fact, does exist just by the hair of its chinny chin chin.
Indeed.
As this is a really nice light binding.
We're going back in time about 1,000,000 years to Kellen dying the first time.
Yeah. Very, very far back. Does a lot of damage to try to turn this into a trade, but is unsuccessful. Now down here, staying a little bit long under turret, Dogdom eats an extra shot here, and when the Realm Warp comes through, there's just no way out. Kellen handles it, again, very well, but the light binding is what prevents them from collapsing in and turning it into a trade and taking out that turret. So, yep, very well played here by Hoyt. Finally getting something with this Lux. He's been on the back foot all game long, but this is not what you like to see.
Nope, that is a lot of red as far as the gold advantages are concerned, and you can see it's about 4,000 gold. The bottom side of the map is largely to do with it, but Canyon has just been the benefactor of so much. And Elm, after being put into that hole, you have to give a big lot of credit over to Bertle for making sure that the start of Elm's jungle route means that the Jarvan can't do anything. And Jarvan is one of our premier early ganking junglers. But if you're down on tempo against this Lee Sin, never going to be a good time. And as you can see, Canyon is making it look like the farm difference of his Diana.
Yeah, I mean, the top turret is down, and Bertle is just kind of relaxing, and he knows that what his relevance is going to be in these upcoming fights here for Drakes is just going to be to eat all the damage and dish it out in AoE, because the Caitlyn is not ahead. She is slightly behind here in this game, which is really going to hurt how much she can do early on. So Damwon Kia should be able to swing this objective control really into their favor in terms of the next few Drake fights. First one comes up in 20. Now they are less here on the top side of the map. The bot duo is rotating over. But Guangdong Freaks have to like pull the trigger here and try to make a play or rush down to the bottom side, because right now they're doing neither.
Yeah.
And this is a big problem as Canyon looks for a pick.
Yeah, and that's a nice flash from Fate. Make sure that he survives. So Canyon not going to be able to get that one, but didn't want to invest his flash, right? So that is flash for no flash, and you'll take that if you didn't flash, right?
Exactly.
I could have explained that probably in a better way as Teddy. Not going to find some peace onto the gangster as Graves going to move on back, and Damwon take themselves a Hex Tech Drake. It's going to be Mountain Soul this game as well, as we are going to put up some rocks here around the map. And then Damwon, man, this is like, it's a death squad moving around here.
Well, they are just stealing everything on the map that there is.
All right, Canyon's going to get caught out. It's really good binding once again as LM taking a lot of damage, but he will not fall. As I have cast a Cursed Canyon a couple of times.
Well, that's going to be a Rift Herald at least, but Guangdong Freaks missed the boat on plates, so this is not going to be as impactful as the first one. But Damwon Kia almost got the Drake and cleared mid and had Birdall survive topside and then also got a Rift Herald. If that binding doesn't hit and they win the fight, like this is an even worse scenario. So goodbye Hoyt, but Damwon Kia not going to just let Fate go quietly.
Yeah, he has no flash, and they know that, as Showmaker also just walking behind the turret is not exactly the best thing. Perfect execution. Beautifully done there from Kinu. Immediately grabs himself a double kill. We'll see whether he can get out of this, and I don't think he will be able to. Collateral damage to finish off that kill. But you'll take it. Definitely a good trade here for Guangdong Freaks to go even when they're behind.
Yeah, Guangdong Freaks picking up some kills here that they shouldn't be able to have, as Luck's just going to use this to clear the wave. And Hoyt is starting to finally, start to really make this Lux worth its priority here with the Caitlyn. Outside of the duo, it's been just light bindings that have been the more critical part of this, speaking of which. This is the replay of Canyon just getting 100-0. LM wants to really follow it up, but there's quick disengage here. And this is not tank Rise that Showmaker is on here, and he is rooted once again by Hoyt under turret. Like, Hoyt is just trying to get POG here if Guangdong win, man.
He's doing his best. I mean, he's just making up for a bit of a rough early stage. So I think POG is probably out of the question, but some redemption as far as how things started.
Because everything that's gone well for Guangdong outside of that early game has been just because Damwon has been a little bit too greedy and he's got him with a Q. The light bindings have been kind of the skill checker here a little bit for Damwon Kia, or the greed checker, let's just say, for how much they've tried to accomplish on the map. Yeah,
it's a bit of a happy gaming happening here for Damwon, but that's okay. If you're actually making some plays around here, that is certainly exactly what we want. As Keen's still struggling to really get on top of things towards that bottom side. Bertle still outside of his Mythic just yet. as he should have that pretty soon.
Yeah, we go for the shield bow into the bloodthirster, plus the hull breaker makes him very difficult to kill in the side lane, almost impossible.
Yep.
So that's kind of his MO right now, especially against the tank Akali, who, as we saw, can actually execute those low health targets, but isn't going to be great at fighting a Graves 1v1 anymore.
Yeah, Bertle, you can see pretty happy chilling here in this side lane. As, oh no! Okay, there we are. Keen often can be trusted when it comes to walking down these cannon minions, so thankfully Asa and Jonah Strong are going to be rewarded for that. Showmaker and Canyon underneath this turret, gonna have to deal with Shirley, getting some work done, gets her eye poked, and will not be able to finish the turret off. Still does a fair bit of work there on the top side of the map.
Situation here is still pretty dire for Kwangdong Freaks. They've had the ability to get Teddy up a little bit of farm here in the mid lane, but unfortunately they haven't gotten those picks at a critical time. Bertle will have to flash.
Yeah, Realm Walk comes on in here as Bertle. Yeah, no escape tools outside of the quick draw that doesn't really do enough. True Shot Barrage does, but no follow-up. And they lose their Graves. Dalmonkia now looking to try and grab their positional advantage here to get themselves a turret.
Now he's got a shield bow. Look at how hard it was for him to die in that last moment, and it's going to be even harder to kill him this time around. Now that he's got the Immortal Shield Bow, Bertle might actually even be able to have his teammates arrive and turn that fight.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the True Shot Barrage does connect as Bertle flashes the Light Binding this time around, not able to get it. Goes left there. Look at how long it takes to kill him with this Hullbreaker build.
It's pretty silly.
He's got the grid, of course, and is going to be very, very difficult to kill. Just in general, that's how Graves does, but I'm liking this kind of unusual tech we've seen from him. Looks very clean how he's played it so far.
I like committing to split push as well, you know, like really understanding that that is going to be his role in this game, and it is, of course, what Graves is largely the best at. Can still, of course, contribute to some of these team fights, but it's not necessarily what his most favored role is.
Yeah, we've seen some like carry Graves, like Kana, when he gets that pick sometimes, he gets a little bit out of control, but not really his role in this game per se. Just wants to make sure he doesn't die to Akali and is controlling the side waves. Damwon need to win this Drake fight, and so the setup here is pretty good, but I like the position for Fate.
Ow. Whoa.
Yeah, and this is before Crown, which he is building. But the, chapter here is going to give him a lot of extra AP.
True, true. We can see that it's already working as, okay, Rune Prison comes down. Everfrost is there, but Bertle's real tanky. Kwangdong Freaks now in position around this mountain. Lucent Singularity is there, but I don't think Canyon will be stopped if he does want to get in here. Might not get in for the Drake, though, as he does move on over, and Ellum blocks that one down. Can they get out? As that is the binding connecting onto Docdun. Doesn't do a lot of damage there, as the Ace in the Hole is tanked by Canyon, as they will now move back towards that mid lane. Outer turret is gone, and that is a successful steal away of the Drake. Good secure from Kwangdong Freaks as they now move Fate towards this tower and look to defend mid.
Bertle should be able to handle that push bottom side, and Damwon really don't have anything else that can make cross map here. The top turret's already down. Kwangdong Freaks are right here. They were just at the Drake pit, so they can easily shut down this 4-man push mid.
Ow, again.
I mean, you look for something like that, then suddenly Teddy's vulnerable. If Canyon actually hits a Q, he's just out of vision, I think. Otherwise, this is an easy call from Canyon to look for that one.
Yeah, no one actually able to be seen, so not going to be able to find that, as Bertle was able to defend the outer turret on the bottom side. And Kwangdong Freaks, there's a lot of standing gold on this map, right? Like, that's a large reason why Damwon do still have this 3,000 plus gold lead. It's because they've taken turrets, and Kwangdong Freaks have not been able to.
Yeah, part of that's the Graves. And once again, he shut down that bottom push there from Fate. Bottom turret was very healthy because Caitlyn Lux didn't get anything done there, but he defends that. Damwon, unfortunately for them, like without this mountain, the solo Drake they got, they're not really pushing towards any threatening objectives. They're not at a point yet where they can actually start a Baron up or anything like that. They can threaten the vision, they can group up as 5 here and make Kwangdong Freak's life a little bit scary. A little bit worried about the Baron start here, but don't think there's going to be any overreactions. You can see they're grouping up around it now while putting Bertle in this bottom lane, because that's all you really can do as Damwon before this next Drake spawn. So it's really unfortunate they lost the potential tempo growth there, and a team fight that was definitely theirs to win. It was stolen away, and this time Kwangdong Freaks is the bully taking the lunch money on this Drake discussion.
Yeah. I really like how this game's developing for Damwon, though. Like, we illustrated already that Quantum Freaks are so much happier to go into team fights. They're so much happier this time to play a little bit more front to back. And Chronicler's there, he's like, oh yes, they did it. They did what I asked. Just build a front to back comp and make it work. And Bertle's like, nah, I'm just going to split push all game. You're not going to get these 5v5s that you're looking for, and I will instead just put on perpetual pressure, and we will just play disengage elsewhere. And it's the best choice, right? It certainly is a great way to pivot into the composition that Quantum Freaks have put together.
It's really right now as Kwangdong, it's tough to actually get that turret gold that's on the map. It's not a objective bounty or anything either, and you're kind of sitting back going, my somewhat muted 201 Caitlyn, who isn't as ahead as she could be in this game, is really unfortunate. The tank rise, the Akali tank build as well, these things that make it difficult for you to be initiators in a team fight. You want to have a hold on an objective first, but Damwon are so good at choking you out of that, and the side laning that unfortunately Kwangdong Freaks, not only are they not great at doing it as a team, but the situation they find themselves in with this Akali means that they just can't really accomplish it. It's just so difficult for them to set up any sort of team fights because Damwon Kia can kick somebody out of the fight. They can actually find a flank and blow up the carry. They've got these ducked on poke. You say ow every time it hits because it hurts. Like Damwon Kia, if they hit a 4-man true shot before a fight starts, I mean, there's kill pressure.
Canyon swoops in and Teddy nets. And that's going to be it. As Fate finds a nice effort for us there onto Bertle, and Bertle straight up does not care. Just not worried about anything that's happening at all. Just wants to kill minions. That's his job for the rest of this game, and he's doing a great job at it.
And Kwangdong Freaks can't punish him because he's just too tanky. And once he gets his Bloodthirster, he will be even tankier.
Yeah.
And like, Showmaker will teleport to him and save him and turn a fight so easily if they try to kill him. So nobody can deal with him, which means you never get map control. And this is why this Graves pick and this Hullbreaker pick for Bertle is so awesome and why it works out so well for them. As Keen is now trying to deal with Showmaker over here, maybe he's like, I have better luck with this squishy Syndra, right? And you better hope so. At least they've got this top wave pushed through.
Yeah. And, okay, Bertle, let's see whether you can do 1v2 as collateral damage comes down. Now going to turn on to Ellen. Teleport to come in here, as you mentioned, giving his team time to come on over. Not going to get the knock-up. It's a decent laser to come through. Showmaker takes most of his health bar. The rest of Damwon have now grouped up as this Realm Warp is not one that they want to take. And they do manage to get Bertle out of there.
Yeah, and they get the Syndra teleport, so the turn wasn't there, unfortunately, because Kwangdong Freaks were better set up, and Damwon Kia, the rest of the team that couldn't teleport in, took a little bit too long to get there. So everything I said, kind of happened exactly as I said.
Yeah, right.
But Kwangdong were ready to stop the teleports to win the 4v2 when he came in as Canyon tries to rotate over. Canyon's actually now flashless. I think Damwon Kia should just try to make a play for this Drake hear.
Look at Bertle.
He's Hullbreaker. He's by himself. He's going to just be impossible to kill, so just start this Drake up.
Yeah, I like that they as well disengage back towards the Drake and retain control of the area, and then Bertle's able to sit in mid lane and deny any extra pressure. This is just, the game of chess around the map that Damwon are playing is certainly just much better than what Kwangdong have put together, unfortunately, this time around. But it's still not really equating to too much of an advantage when it comes to gold, but equalizing the Drakes, Damwon Kia still just slowly but surely moving themselves towards later in the game where this Crown Ezreal is just going to be very, very difficult to deal with.
It's hard for... This game is somewhat solved in a way in which Damwon Kia can always just 4-1 with Bertle on a side lane. He's unkillable, and as long as you have teleports up, you can rotate over. It means that Kwangdong Freaks will never really have the ability to set up Drake Vision first or set up Baron Vision first. So they're caught between a rock and a hard place, and they're going to have to make tough calls. Like, maybe they need a 4-man top and try to kill a turret and then back off, and then maybe do it again and look for an inhibitor turret. Makes really strategic calls like this, because Bertle, while he can be in the side lane forever, it's going to take him quite some time to actually push down by himself. So you can try to get permanent structure damage on the map here, like mid-turret's still available here as Kwangdong. But if you just kind of sit back and wait, nothing good's going to happen.
Well, Binding is going to connect. Hoyt is a support Lux and now has to flash as, oh my goodness. The scatter comes in. Showmaker not going to find it. Q going to land though. And Canyon gets some revenge against Hoyt. Not much you can do without a flash there, as Fate here on the bottom side might be able to get their second turret of the game.
But it's going to be for a Baron, as they can start this one up. They have the choke point control. They've got great turn with this composition. And it's an Ezreal that's pretty fed at this point. This Drake, or rather Baron, goes down so fast.
Yep, Showmaker trying to find Elm here as the Everfrost. Not going to quite do too much. Elm is a bit distracted here with Showmaker as this Baron is going to fall, and now the rest of Damwon are going to turn on to Elm. Keen there as well, inside his Shroud. Canyon comes on over, and yes, you managed to kill Showmaker. Congratulations. You've probably just lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how this goes, unfortunately. And I mean, now the Baron buff here for Damwon Kia compounds all of the problems we've talked about, because Birdall is now going to be even more threatening in a side lane. As set up here for LM, you know, they try to pick off a Lee Sin that's extremely tanky at this point, and then Hoyt is, you're out of luck, man. You got the binding, but you gave your life for it, and that's a Baron.
Yeah. And now Showmaker, no ult, right? Like, and he's just gonna move over to the side here, and LM flags, drags, Cataclysm. In the meantime, Baron being taken, Showmaker's like, yeah, well, you kill me, it's fine.
Fate, even if, like, you might have, someone watching this might think, just looking at the minimap, like, maybe he should have just not gotten the turret, maybe he should have teleported in faster and hoped for a faster turn before that Baron gets low, but he's tank rise, you know? I mean, get there early or not, you're really just Peel. You're not going to be able to suddenly wipe this team out and help team fight, so it's better he gets the turret, but still teleports in and doesn't get anything for it. Now this is Damwon Kia, Baron buff, starting to 4-1 this map to Oblivion, looking for inhibitors.
Yeah, and Birdall is now Hullbreaker Graves with Bloodthirster as well as a Baron buff. Like, the split push side laning is definitely very, very powerful for this gentleman right now. As you can see in that mid lane, Fate trying to deal with him. Does have a decent wave clear himself, but Damwon starting to press the issue 30 minutes into this game. Kills are even, but the gold is definitely not.
Such a, you know, a place where you have very few options as Kwangdong Freaks, and the call to go for that pick onto Lee Sin backfires big time, and now, I mean, you really are on the back foot, and they've got enough wave clear to deal with these and slow this down, and I don't think that Damwon Kia could win off of this push unless Kwangdong loses somebody. But now your base is open, right? Realm Warp is the last-ditched attempt.
Yeah, that's an aggressive Realm Warp as they're going to jump onto Showmaker once again. This time he'll flash as Kane goes golden in the backline. Kellen and Doc Dharma dealing with him pretty decently as Canyon will also go down. Birdall finds the backline, and my god, the damage. He even gets a sneaky auto onto this inhibitor before tearing Kwangdong Freaks apart. This will be the end of the game, and Damwon Kia, it really didn't feel like they were going to lose this one at any point in this game, and they'll finish it real fast.
That was the most boring Damwon win ever, but that's how you do it. You clean it up. The Hullbreaker tech here from Birdall, first item, was awesome. Really shut down the Akali in the early parts of this game. But also Canyon, shutting down that bottom duo so hard as Fate is just going to walk away from
crying
this.
Gingerbread Man is not having a great time as Nocturne does complete the ace, and the Nexus will fall. 9,000 gold lead in the end, and Damwon Kia secure the 2-0.
Great game for Damwon Kia, and unfortunately, Kwangdong Freaks not decisive in terms of their macro. And this is both arguments for me saying, okay, I liked Kwangdong's draft in game one better, and Chronicle saying I'd rather see them try to 5v5 and play standard. But the reason for both of our...
Most of the work, and yes, you know, keen for a melee range champion, being able to get a fair bit of work done. Elm as well, surprising amount of damage, as Canyon not so much. But I mean, look at that gold graph. Like, they win that early game, they coast for a bit, and then they find themselves a Baron, and they win.
I think it's a tough call between Canyon and Birdall for who picks this one up. Birdall definitely had the most impact in side lanes to great in fights, but Canyon really set up that bottom duo to
But Canyon could only set up that bottom lane to succeed because Birdall stopped the blue buff in the early game from Ellen.
It's